guys, welcome back. We are playing a new game called A Fisherman's Tale. It's going to be a very fun quest, I believe, and it's a really tripped out game, so let's just get right into it. Chapter selection. Yes. No talking. Gary's mod, there's a map like this game.
Now, stop me if you have heard this one before. Once upon a while ago, there was a fisherman's puppet, carefully made by hand. The puppet lived a simple life inside a model lighthouse, with everything in its place. And every day began the same way when he brushed his wooden teeth.
You ever wonder what I look like? This is what I look like. Hi.
He was a handsome one, it's true, but enough staring. Time to brush.
Toothbrush. Okay. Which trigger? Bottom one? Oh, like this?
Well, if you don't think wooden teeth need brushing, you've never had a cavity and a splinter at the same time. Next, he put a log inside his little stove to warm things up.
Use the stick to turn and face the stove. Wait, use the stick to turn and face the stove. Use the stick. What stick? Oh. Oh, there's no smooth. I'm gonna put on smooth scrolling. Hold forward. Oh! Too far. That's why I don't like this teleporting. I'm gonna have to change this.
It would get cold in here. The puppet would put a log inside his little stove.
Oh.
The puppet would put a log inside the stove, nice and warm, safe from the storm. Next, he would take his duster and carefully dust his lucky seashell over there on the shelf.
Like dust? Dust the lucky seashell. Oh. Whoa.
What next? Next, he would take the old duster and dust his lucky seashell there. The shell reminded him of the sea when it was calm. Next, the fisherman would open wide his window to check the weather. A quiet sea tonight.
Oh, beautiful.
Finally, and most important, every day he would work on his latest model. There, in the center of the room, a perfect model of his own little lighthouse, exact in every detail. It was nearly finished too. Only 2 pieces needed to be added to the replica. The little model cabinet and the final section of the wall.
Oh, it goes right here.
Yes.
And final section of the wall. Where is that?
The model should be a perfect replica. There was a section of the wall missing and a model cabinet. They must have been around here, somewhere.
Oh, these collect those. There's some section of the wall. Nice, yeah, that's right on. What's missing? Radio.
The model should be a perfect replica. There was a section of the wall missing and a model cabinet. They must have been around here, somewhere.
I can't put the radio in there. Section of the wall missing. Oh! There we go. What is this? Oh, the front?
Good.
There we go,
Now,
the window.
the final touch. a tiny puppet of himself to put inside.
Where am I? Oh, my head. Oh, my head. Let me put them brighter. By accident. Alright. Yeah, let's go to settings right away. Seated. Let's go to seated. So I don't have to stand. Stand all the time. Alright. Oh, you can't adjust. So you have to play with the... There we go. Alright, let's get back. Sorry about that. Oh, the head. What happened to the head?
The fisherman was a man of many parts, you see. So there were two parts of the puppet to be joined together.
Oh no. What happened to the head? I picked the head up. Oh, there's the head. There we go.
There. Lucky this model snapped together. Now the little puppet could go in its little rocking chair inside its lighthouse.
Rocking chair.
Tired out from his routine, the fisherman would rest his aching wooden bones in his own rocking chair and go to sleep. And dream of models. Safe inside, where the smell of paint and glue was always fresh, where the world was simple and snapped together, the puppet would follow his routine, brush his wooden teeth, dust his lucky shell, and work on his model. Worlds within worlds, walls within walls, closing out the storm so it could never reach inside. Until one night, something changed.
Again this year. We all know there's a big catch waiting out there somewhere, but hold your hauling lines. Reports are saying a huge storm is blowing in. It might be nothing, but better safe than salvage, I always say. Coming up next, another hour of thrilling nautical news.
Wait, it's night already? Whoa. Thunderstorms. Whoa, turn black. I can't hit some... Oh, there we go. Chapter 1.
Every morning, the fisherman's puppet awoke inside his model lighthouse with everything in its place. And he began his day the same way. Except this morning, something felt different.
Well, it's closed. What the hell? Whoa.
Mon Dieu, the window had been boarded up. The fisherman didn't remember doing that. Even when the storm came, he was safe in here.
Oh,
but no two silly planks of wood were going to get between him and his routine.
Okay. So... Grab the firewood. Put it there. Nose. And the poker stoke the fire. Okay, let's go over here. Dust just a shell. Seashell.
He needed some air. He had to find a way to pry off the boards.
What boards? Oh, pry off the boards.
He couldn't get them off by hand.
Yeah. Okay, we need like a crowbar or something. Can I go up there? See what's up there? No. There's gotta be a crowbar on there somewhere. See what's up there.
He needed to find something to pry off the boards.
Oh, you gotta take this off. Oh. Okay. Take off the boards. With something.
This would do. What was it Papa used to say? Use the right tool for the right job.
It's hard to do.
Nearly there.
There we go.
What was this feeling? The fisherman hadn't felt like this for a long time. At last,
It's called work.
the smell of the ocean.
Whoa.
But outside, not the sea, he couldn't believe his wooden eyes. Outside the room was another room, a replica room. And standing in it, a huge but very familiar figure of a fisherman. And he knew that if that huge figure were to turn, its face would be very familiar.
He's in there too.
Sacre bleu, if this was what lay outside, then what was inside his own little model lighthouse,
The hook.
in the model of his own room?
This is so weird, guys. Hook. Okay. I'm gonna put this down. Sorry. Let me put this over here. This should be here.
The fisherman could put it off no longer. He had to lift the roof off the little model on the table to look inside. It was all there inside the model, exact in every detail. But the tiny version of himself, it was moving. He was inside the model, he was outside the model, and just who was pulling all the strings?
Hey listeners, a general alert to all lighthouses. In spite of all of our thrilling up-to-the-minute warnings, a lone boat has gone out into the storm. Lighthouse keepers, make sure your lights are shining bright. I repeat, a lone boat has gone out into the storm.
The lighthouse. The world might be folding in on itself, but only one thing mattered now. He had to turn on the lighthouse lamp high above. Of course, as below, so above. When he lifted the tiny anchor, the large one was lifted by his giant self.
Yeah. What do I do? Okay. Okay. Now what? What did they say? Oh. Look at that.
Now, time to get out of this little room.
Yeah, how do I get out of this little room? Oh, climb out. No. Oh, over there's the door, duh.
Zut! The door was locked. He must have put the key somewhere last time he left this room. Now, when was that? And then, my friends, the strangest thing happened. Inside this room where he knew every cranny and nook, an unfamiliar voice said,
There it is.
Hey, you. Yes, you, the scruffy-looking puppet. Yeah, you with the strings. Over here, on the shelf.
It's the shell.
Are you cracked in the cockle? Why did you move the anchor? Why? Oh, why did you take the roof off?
The fisherman, he felt, his lucky shell had just started talking to him, and very rudely too, so he did not feel so great.
You test me every day and you thought I just had nothing to say? I'm an hermit crab, Sonny, and you might not appreciate a nice quiet hiding spot, but I do. Now, shh.
And what are we hiding from?
I'm hiding from the storm. Why do you think I stole the key?
The key? The key? Where is it?
Oh, fiddler crab sticks.
The fisherman took a deep breath. Oh, hermit crab, craftiest of all crustaceans, I must get to the top of the lighthouse. Those sailors out there may be looking for us. We must be brave.
Brave? Brave? If you can't find me my hat, I will be the captain, of course. And the captain needs his hat and a life preserver, just in case. Then, just this once, we will be brave.
Well, of course, courageous Captain Crab, said the fisherman. Your hat and a life preserver. Now, where would an everyday wooden puppet find a tiny life preserver and a hat fit for a crab?
There's the life preserver. And a hat? For a crab? Okay.
There! Now, put it around my shell. Oh. Are you, calling me fat? That life preserver is far too big for me.
Yeah.
Have you found anything? Bring it to me when you find something.
Life preserver? Where's a tiny life preserver? What can it be? That's it. There's gotta be a tiny...
I'll admit, I'm a curious crab asking you all this stuff. But this storm is really, really scary, believe me. Try it in a smaller size.
Okay.
Find me a hat and a life preserver. Then I'll consider giving you the key to get to the lighthouse. And making you my first mate as well.
Yeah, find my hat. Oh, look, give me a clue. There, that's the hat and the life preserver. Okay.
I should have moved shell years ago, I know. But, I never found the courage to live with this crazy weather outside. Now, here is the biggest storm and you want me to leave? This is insane.
Oh, that's gotta be it. How do you open this? Oh, you take the life preserver. This. Yes. There's the key. That's what they have it there for.
How's it going? The storm is getting closer. I'm not joking.
There we go. Now.
Whoa! That hat is much too big. It's, more of a tent than a hat, no? I won't move until I'm less...
I have to put it in the model.
Scared. This scruffy-looking puppet wants us all dead, it seems.
His hand is much too big. Whoa, look at that. Okay. Put it on me.
I'm still waiting for that hat and the life preserver. My outfit's incomplete without them. Then, I think I can help you get the key to the top of the lighthouse.
Yeah, life preserver. How do you shrink them? Oh, I shrink them, guys. Yeah, I put the hat outside the window.
How's it going? The storm is getting closer. I'm not joking.
Oh yeah. Put the hat outside the window, turn around. Let me see. What am I touching here?
I should have moved gel years
Then
ago,
I have a
know.
little one.
Good. Now put it on me carefully. That's far too big.
Yeah, see?
Whoa! That hat is much too big. It's, more than a hat, no? Have you found anything? Bring it to me when you find something.
Oh,
That's far too big.
Do that again.
Whoa! That hat is much too big. It's, more than a hat, no? How's it going? The storm is getting closer.
Here.
I'm not joking. How does it
There
look?
you go.
Does it look, dashing? Oh, it does.
Now I
Doesn't
gotta do
it?
that to life preserver.
Now, fetch your captain his life preserver. Allez, allez.
Okay.
Allez. There. Now, put it around my shell. Have you found anything? So, you found
There we go.
everything? Well,
Figured
if
it
a
out.
little wooden puppet like you can do this, then I will be
I'm stuck,
brave.
guys.
Now, just let me get out of this damn shell. Phew. Breezy. I feel so much lighter, and the world feels so much bigger. I don't think I can go back into my shell after this. All right, let's do this. I'll help you open the door so you can save your fellow silly old sailor. And I, as captain, shall courageously remain here, on guard. Now, let's see. Where did I leave the key? I was holding the key while I was repairing my shell. Then I had a sudden itch, and then, blast it. I don't remember.
It's in there. So what I do? I take this shell and stick it out. Wait, to make it bigger, it's gonna make it even smaller.
I've lost the key, mon ami. Forget your poor sailor. You'll never be able to save him.
Yeah. There
That will do. All right.
you
Are
go.
you
This
ready?
game is so tripped out.
Me too, I think.
I got it. Here you go. You grab your shell back. I got the key. Yeah, buddy.
Farewell, shipmate. I won't forget what you did for me. Your captain salutes you.
He would
Thank
need to
you.
find his way up the tower in the darkness,
Oh.
and already he could hear the storm rising outside.
Nice. Figured it out, guys. Yeah, that's the spool in the back. It looks like me. Am I in that boat? Weird. Chapter 2. Whoa.
We're with you through the night, fish fans, and remember, no catch is worth risking life and limb, even if it is the biggest, richest, fishiest catch you've ever seen. And to all you lighthouse keepers out there, keep those brights on. This one's for you.
This is the lighthouse. Whoa.
The biggest fish Papa ever caught. The fisherman had spent all his life trying to land a catch as big as that.
Well, don't you look like a tall drinker? Water.
was still alive. This went against everything he had learned. He had to get the fish some water. This section of wall seemed loose. Of course, he had forgotten to glue this part of the model. It was only held on with 2 latches.
Oh. Oh.
Buckets, no water in the tap.
What? No water in the tap? What this say? No water! There's gotta be some water around here.
Water.
There's gotta be, look, there's water right. Oh, there. Oh, there's a can of, there's an opening. Oh, water, I get it. You gotta put these pipes together. I'm getting water, buddy. Hold on. Hang in there. Okay. Oh, I could have put that in. We need 3 more of these pipes. There's. I make that bigger. Oh, I can't move. Oh, yeah, I can. Okay. Ah, crap. There we go. Oh, I just... Where'd it go? What happened to it? I dropped it. What? Where'd it go? It's gone. Let's see. I dropped it. It would be here. Oh no. Alright, well there's another piece. Until that. Oh, there it is. It reset. Alright, give me this again. I got it. I don't have to stick it out the window or anything. It comes right down here in front of me. Where is it? Oh, I put it right in front of me. There we go. Now, here. Peace. Alright. One more. Looks like it.
There were some pipes missing to get the sink working again.
Where's this last part? Maybe I gotta remove that. Yeah, let's remove that wall somehow. Ooh, there we go. Pipe piece in there. Oh. Okay. There's no pipe piece.
Had to find the missing pipes and repair the plumbing.
There we go. Yes. Yes.
There. Now the water would flow.
Now I can take the bucket.
Success. Too much success. Water flooded into the model. Quick, hold your breath. The water closed over him, and the memories came flooding back.
Okay.
The coolness, the darkness, the ocean tossing and turning him like a rag doll. But wait a minute. Puppets can't drown. No, a bit of water wouldn't stop this fisherman.
What the hell? What now? Let's go to the fish now.
Water everywhere. But
There you go.
is there anything to eat? I'm hungry.
Don't swim in me.
It seemed Papa had forgotten to feed his stuffed
Is there
fish.
food out here? There must be food. Food.
I gotta feed him?
Who are you, oh noble fish? And do you know how to reach the top of the lighthouse? The fisherman asked.
I'm a big-eyed tuna. My eyes are even bigger than my stomach. And if you want to go upstairs, my little amuse-bouche, well, you'll have to feed me first.
There must be food out here.
Nothing? I'll starve. Any second now, I shall succumb to hunger. If only you find me some food.
I will. Let's go. Get him some food. Thomas? Oh, there he is.
Lighthouse if you find some food.
Yeah, I wish I could. I don't remember seeing any food.
And there must be something he could feed the famished fish.
That's not food. Is that food? In the pan?
I was stuck on that wall for years, you know. Oh, the food I saw. Oh. Well, actually, it wasn't up too much.
What's down here again? No, it's just a bottle. Why would this be a bottle be food? Why would these be No food in there. No food in that plate. Is this food? I don't know what this is. Oh, that.
I can smell food somewhere.
Clearly, the fish wasn't going to shut up about food.
Yeah. But I don't know. Oh, hook. Catch him something? Wait. Can I catch him something? What the hell?
Let me tell you, it's angry work being stuck on a wall for years.
Okay, well, what the hell do fish eat? They have fish food, they have other fish, they eat other fish, they eat... I don't see no... I am lost. It's gotta be in this other room then.
I can smell food somewhere.
Oh my god, is it the crab?
I can smell something. Oh, sardines. Oh, they are here somewhere.
Sardines? They gotta be in the can. These cans. Yeah, sardines. But these cans don't have nothing in them. Oh, down here.
Sardines. These would do.
Yeah.
It's a fish-eat-fish world, after all. But how to open the can? They smelled vintage. But a stuffed fish could hardly be picky.
Here you go.
What are you waiting for? Throw the sardine. I'm ready to catch it.
Are you kidding me? Alright, let's try this again. Let's go over here though. Here's a big one for you on this side.
Chew on that.
Oh, that was a big fish.
A
Too
bone?
big?
A fish bone. It's stuck in my throat.
What next? It seemed the fish had choked on its own appetite. And also a fish bone.
Oh, he's gonna puke it up. Whoa. Whoa.
It's stuck. No one could have seen this coming.
He had to climb inside the mouse. The fisherman was afraid. How many of this fish's family had he? Now, there was the bone of contention.
Thank you, fisherman. I could not get enough, you know. I wanted more. Always. Like an obsession. But you, Legoland walkers, wouldn't know anything about that. Of course, you have everything, don't you?
Well, what could the puppet say to that?
Now, I must repay you. The key to the tower door is outside. I saw a huge figure hiding near the mirror a long time ago.
Where?
Outside?
I'm certain it was around here.
The key?
Climb on in.
What? Climb in your mouth? Again? Really?
Welcome aboard Fish Flight 123. Please keep your arms inside the mouth at all times and no splinters, please. How's your seat, sir?
There was plenty of legroom, but the view left something to be desired. And there was a distinct smell of... oh yes, sardines.
Yeah, sardines. Where's the key? What are we doing?
Here we are. Mind your step.
Whoa,
Go get them, little morsel. The key is up there.
Up where?
The key was too high. He needed something. Perhaps back in the lighthouse, there might be something he could use. The fish was around the mirror when it was trying to show where the key was.
Oh. It's on top of the mirror. Wait, so we gotta go back in the fish?
The key was around there, close to the sink, or above.
What's in there? I see it. Ah, okay. So we gotta set this up so we can pick it up. So turn this like this. And this like this. Oh! Can we do that? I see the key right in there. I can't grab it like that. Okay. Right. Put this like this. Can we get in there now? I don't know.
was too high. He needed a ladder or something. Perhaps back in the lighthouse? This was much too big to be moved. He had to find another way to move it.
Oh, this ladder. There we go. Now I have to make it smaller. There we go. Now going back in the vision. Yeah, you can't cheat. There's specifically to want you to do. There we go.
This was much too big to be moved. He had to find another way to move it.
What? There we go. Grab it now.
At last,
Yes.
time to get back to the lighthouse. Thank you for helping me, the fisherman said.
Of course, you helped me see that there is more to life than the largest morsel. Sometimes a smaller morsel is sweeter, juicier, and more delectable.
He's talking about. Wait, what's the. Oh, he's for this door probably.
What have
Bonchance, little morsel. Thank you for setting me free. I hope you reach the top of the tower.
Yeah.
The door opened. The lighthouse tower waited. The fisherman had begun to think that he had all the answers, but he would soon realize he had bitten off maybe more than he could chew.
Uh-oh.
Come in, trawler. Come in, trawler. If you can hear us, return to port immediately. I repeat, return to port immediately.
What happened to tsunami? What? Oh, chapter 3. Oh.
Papa's old study. This was where the fisherman had learned to make models. Sitting at Papa's knee, listening to Papa's gruff, scratchy voice telling him to try again, and next time get it right. The fisherman was nearly there, but something in this room seemed different, like he was being watched.
Yeah, by that picture. Oh, it's flooded. Yeah, I'm in the mile. Oh, look at this guy. Awesome. Also in the story, the sea flooded me, and which floods this in return. And there's the model flooded. With the wood, oh my god, everything's flooded. Alright, let's go back in. Oh! Have a piece. Oh, the boat. What do I do with this? What do I take?
I have been watching
Oh, I got put together.
and I'm not impressed. Papa? The painting, the old painting of his father, the great fisherman, it was talking.
Quiet, I'm talking.
My only child, my flesh and blood. You could have been as great a sailor as me, or my father before me. Ah, Papa, that you had lived to see this day. Papa, said the puppet, I must light the lighthouse lamp. A ship is in peril. My own son, a mere lamp lighter, a landlubber, nonsense. All you need is a boat and a strong net. Show you're a true sea dog and sail out there. Maybe you're good for something. Keep going.
Okay. So, gotta put this model back together. There's the ship model. Okay. Whoa. Look up there. Wait, let's go up there and see what's up there. Oh yeah, there's the piece. Go back down. Put this piece.
You won't get far with Alpha Boat. Where is the next part?
I'm going. Let's find it. Let's open this. Whoa.
The controls of the old lighthouse crane were there, on the balcony. The huge half-flooded room surrounded him, and below, he could see the tiny replica of the room.
Can you move the crane? Yeah, we need someone else to move the crane. Oh, there we go. Oh, so I have to collect it and put it in there. Oh, this is so cool, guys.
Fishing, it is an art. No, a craft. No, an art. Aboard a craft. I'm writing that down.
Okay. Why isn't it working?
Fool, where did you leave the left part of the hull?
No, this control don't work. Alright, there's something more to it.
The door upstairs was rusted shut. Besides, Papa had given him an order, and a true sailor always obeys the skipper.
Your mother would be sad to see this day.
Oh, that looks like the electricity.
Not me, of course. I was always a very supportive parent.
Gotta get power. Alright. Look for power source. Gotta be inside. Oh.
So it's come to this. My own son. Phew, a lighthouse keeper.
There it is.
Nearly there. Who am I kidding? You never finish anything.
Well, finish everything. What's this? Books? Oh, picture. Might need this. Oh, yes. It's on here somehow. It's gotta be sail or something. Oh. Okay. Ah, power. Battery, yes. There we go.
Your mother would be sad to see this day. Not me, of course.
doing it.
I was always a very supportive parent.
Okay. There, we got power now. Okay, let's
Carefully now.
that's up, down.
Easy,
What is
easy.
this? What is it now? And shoot. Okay, we can't get that. I think we gotta fish for the little parts over there. far down the hole. Yep. And now we should start seeing the hook up there. That's left and right. That's top. Ooh. How are we gonna hook it? This is so cool. Wait, down? Okay. Slowly. There we go. Get it? Do we put it in the model? Yeah, can I go get it? Get it? Wait, can I get it? Oh, and then I go get it over here. Out the window. Whoa. Okay. Let's do this backwards, yeah. And I can get it from the window? That's way too big though. How the hell am I supposed to get this? Wait a second. Oh! No! What? Uh-oh. Oh, guys. It's working out. I knew this was gonna happen. Look at that down there. So we're getting out. I gotta fix this fast. Got a problem here. Gotta go up. It wigged out. Oh yeah. Look at that. Bugs. Now what? Gotta restart it. I can't do nothing about it. Not bugs or anything, the code just... Wow. I can't fix it if I wanted to. Alright. Oh, look at that. Okay, can we restart it somehow? Oh, remove the battery. Can we? And add it? There we go. That's not even right. You gotta restart it. God, are you kidding me? Resume? Whoa. Oh, let's just see that. No. I'm gonna have to start all over. Wow, this is how it's gonna be. Oh my god. Here, continue. Oh, let's try it, guys. I don't want to quit. Doubtful one. Yeah, see.
Papa's hold steady. This was where the fisherman had learned to make models, sitting at Papa's knee, listening to Papa's graph, scratchy voice telling him to try again, and next time get it right. The fish I have been watching, and I'm not impressed. Papa?
Really?
The painting, the old painting of his father, the great fisherman, it was talking.
Quiet, I'm talking.
My only child, my flesh and blood. You could have been as great a sailor as me, or my father before me. Ah, Papa, that you had lived to see this day. Papa, said the puppet, I must light the lighthouse lamp. A ship is in peril. My own son, a mere lamp lighter, a landlubber, nonsense. All you need is a boat and a strong net. Show you're a true sea dog and sail out there.
A strong net. Oh god, you're ready, bro. Come on. Really?
Did I ever tell you about the time I caught a fish as big as you? Bigger, in fact, much bigger.
Once it gets impaled in the object, it is stuck. No way. Once it gets impaled, no, it's done.
It looked like there were 5 pieces missing. The cabin, the deck, the rear winch, and 2 halves of the hull.
Oh god, I have to restart it one more time. This is not gonna be good. How are you supposed to play the game if it does this? This is not gonna be good, guys. Sorry to say. I will say something though. I will do a review big time. Man, this game is so good too. I liked it. This adventure is good. Maybe we can get through this, so let's see. Alright. Go ahead.
Papa's old study. This was where the fisherman had learned to make models, sitting at Papa's knee, listening to Papa's graph, scratchy voice telling him to try again, and next time get it right. The fisherman was nearly there, but something in this room seemed different, like he was being watched.
Okay. Alright. Careful with these. Oh. There we go. 1. Get the battery right away.
I have been watching, and I'm not impressed. Papa? The painting, the old painting of his father, the great fisherman, it was talking.
Quiet, I'm talking.
My only child, my flesh and blood. You could have been as great a sailor as me, or my father before me. Ah, Papa, that you had lived to see this day.
Sorry, guys.
Papa, said the puppet, I must light the lighthouse lamp. A ship is in peril. My own son, a mere lamp lighter, a landlubber, nonsense. All you need is a boat and a strong net. Show you're a true sea dog and sail out there.
2.
You won't get far with half a boat. Where is the next part?
No. Okay. No, it's outside there. Let's see if we have anything inside here.
The door upstairs was rusted shut. Besides, Papa had given him an order, and a true sailor always obeys the skipper.
Okay.
The controls of the old lighthouse crane were there on the balcony. The huge half-flooded room surrounded him, and below, he could see the tiny replica of the room.
Your mother would be sad to see this day. Not me, of course. I was always a very supportive parent.
Let's grab one at a time. Forward. Ooh, I can't go forward no more. Down.
You were always leaving model parts in drawers.
Okay.
Check in there.
Get this piece first. Oh, it's going towards me. Okay, that's in there. Okay, slowly. Over. Down. There it is. Down. Okay. Now, up a little bit. Towards me. Oh.
So it's come to this. My own son. A lighthouse keeper.
Ooh. Wait, it's different now because I'm turned. So this is forward. Oh my god. Ooh, it's real confusing now. Did I just reach it? See, just look down. There we go. I was looking at the model over there. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Easy. Wait, you know what? Go like this. We got this, guys.
Your mother would be sad to see this day.
There we go.
Not me, of course. I was always a very supportive parent.
Okay. Wait. No, up, down, this one. Wait, to me? Right here. The window. Get it off. Okay, there we go. Okay. Alright, what do I do now? This is what I don't get.
Fishing. It is an art. No, a craft. No, an art. Aboard a craft.
Well, I have to put it in.
I'm writing that down.
It's already in there. Once I put the boat together. Oh, out here. Do I have to put the boat together out here? Bring the parts? Wait a second.
Did I ever tell you about the time I caught a fish as big as you? Bigger, in fact. Much bigger.
I don't get it. Last time I touched this, it was flaming fine. Wait a second. Where did I take the boat?
Fool, where did you leave the left part of the hull?
What's the what I do? Why take this?
mother would be sad to see this day. Not me, of course. I was always a very supportive parent.
Logic, then that should snap. Should snap to that. Hold on, guys. That thing is stuck. What the hell? My VR cable.
Did I ever tell you about the time I caught a fish as big as you? Bigger, in fact. Much bigger.
Okay. Five pieces. Huh, sexton. 5 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, man. This goes in here, which is outside right now. I think I gotta either bring the ship out there or bring that stuff in here. In order for me to bring that
So
in
it's
here,
come to this. My own son.
gotta be
A lighthouse keeper.
So, in order for me to make this bigger, yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do. Stick it out the window, I think. Let's drop this. Get off the hook.
Did I ever tell you about the
We're not
time
gonna
I
be able to
caught a
pull that
fish
through
as
the
big
window.
as you? Bigger, in fact. Much bigger.
Let's get it. Okay. Put it right down here. Alright, just leave it like that on the hook.
Fishing. It is an art. No, a craft. No, an art. Aboard a craft. I'm writing that down.
Okay, here goes nothing. Or should I throw it that way? Or should I hook it on the hook? Oh, and then bring it. Yeah.
I am certain you left a piece in one of the drawers.
There's a piece in the drawer still. That's the bottom part, probably. Here. Let me put it back. One of the drawers. Oh yeah, this piece. That's what we need, so it doesn't sink.
Nearly there. Who am I kidding? You never finish anything.
Okay. Now, we need to put those 2 pieces on top. So should I hook this on the hook? What should I do? Oh, no. 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 No, guys. No.
So it's come to this. My own son. A lighthouse keeper.
Stuck. No. Come on. Really?
Did I teach you nothing? You
I
must
wanna
use the
sit
crane
here
to
and go
pull
back
it
to
up.
this place. Here we go. Almost. Guys, almost. There we go. There we go. Oh, God. Alright. Let's order there.
Your mother would be sad to see
Hook
these
it on
days.
there and then drive it to there.
Not me, of course. I was always a very supportive parent.
Okay. Bring the... Hook
Carefully now.
Or... I don't know.
Easy, easy.
Don't go too long because I don't know where we'll get this. There we go. Oh, no, don't go too long. Wait a second. Wait. Gonna drop it in there? Oh no, I did it again. No. Alright, well, we couldn't throw the boat in the water. Oh no, guys. This. Ah, it's not good. Oh, the boat's back. Oh, come on. No. There we go. I guess we dropped it in the water, it just sinks. So there's no way that there's this part. There's no way. We can't. Either we gotta bring this back. Either the hook bring this outside, or okay, if we could fix this, that would be awesome. It looks out like that when you grab it with your hand. Oh God. I'm gonna try it again. One more time. One more time. Let it load.
Papa's old study. This was where the fisherman had learned to make models, sitting at Papa's knee, listening to Papa's gruff, scratchy voice telling him to try again, and next time get it right. The fisherman was nearly there, but something in this room seemed different, like he was being watched.
I got it this time for sure. Alright, let's do it.
I have been watching.
and I'm not impressed. Papa? The painting, the old painting of his father, the great fisherman, it was talking.
Quiet, I'm talking.
My only child, my flesh and blood. You could have been as great a sailor as me, my father before me. Ah, Papa, that you had lived to see this day. Papa, said the puppet, I must light the lighthouse lamp. A ship is in peril. My own son, a mere lamp lighter, a landlubber, nonsense. All you need is a boat and a strong net. Show you're a true sea dog and sail out there. You won't get far without the boat. Where is the next part? So it's come to this. My own son. A lighthouse keeper.
What? Wait. There it is.
Your mother would be sad to see this day. Nearly there. Who am I kidding? You never finish anything.
Okay. Alright guys, we got this. We got this. Let's go. We got this. Got the battery in? Okay.
The controls of the old lighthouse crane were there, on the balcony. The huge half-flooded room surrounded him, and below, good.
Carefully now.
Easy, easy.
Damn it. Okay. These first? Why not? Oh, okay. There we go. Okay, that's not gonna work. There we go. There we go. Alright, now pull it up this way. Yeah. That. There we go. There we go. Oh no! 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 No, you don't! No, you don't! No, you don't!
Keep going, boy.
Okay.
I will make something of you yet.
Okay. Here we go. Last piece. Hold on, let me adjust this. Because my knees are hitting my table, man. Okay, there we go.
Carefully now. Easy, easy.
Oh. I got this. Did it a couple of times. Okay. There we go. Ooh, nope. Okay. I thought I was gonna get it. Oh, it's going down? No. Oh, no, this is down. Come on, hook it. There we go. Bring it to me. Ooh. I'll bring it up. Bring it towards me. Same time. Out. Grab. Pull. Turn. Got it down to an ace. I'm messing around because I learned from the bugs. And there we go. And yes!
There. That's a good, honest vessel. Well, what are you waiting for?
What do you think of that,
On.
Grandpa?
Now tuck it at the pontoon. Then we'll see who's too big for his father's boat.
What? Pontoon? Wait. What? What now? A picture? No. Wait. What? Oh, maybe go up there?
The door upstairs was rusted shut. Besides, Papa had given him an order, and a true sailor always obeys the skipper.
What? What am I supposed to do? Wait, I didn't hear what he said. What? What did he say at the end there? Pontoon? Something about a pontoon.
A ship in harbor is safe, but it belongs in the water. Lower it on the crane.
Lower it on the crane. Okay, so you gotta bring it to the crane. Okay, gotta put it on the crane. Okay. Got the whole ship. Now easy with this part, because if we got this part, we did this whole thing for nothing. No! Whoa! Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, gotta ditch it. What? Oh, okay. Let me fix myself. Do this perfectly. Okay. All we have to do is lower it. Go out. Put it in. Oh, we gotta set it down like this. Okay. Lower. Oh, that's perfect.
There. Allez, en avant toute.
What? Oh, there it is. Oh, let's go. Oh, I didn't know we needed to put on that side so we can get in it, dude. We did it, guys. We did it. See, never give up. Never give up. Never give up, never surrender. There we go. We're on the boat. Look at this, guys. We're on the boat. Let's go drive.
Don't touch that rudder, boy. We are bound for the biggest catch of our lives. Stay on course. Can't you do anything right?
What?
Let this be a lesson to you. Even great sailors like me can let the battery run out. Find another battery.
What? Another battery? Well, we got a battery up there. Let's go get that battery from up there. What kind of battery? Wait a second. Oh, over here. I guess we need that battery from upstairs. I think this is perfect size. I don't need to shrink it or anything. There we go. How's that? How is that, Dad? Now can we go?
Cast off. East by northeast. Full steam.
Oh!
Look at you. You look almost like a real sailor. If I squint.
I wish they had this like in
Thanks,
VR,
Papa.
sea sailing. That would be so awesome.
Morning,
I'm gonna find
Fishman.
this sailor.
Fishing season has begun and stocks are looking thin again this year. We all know there's a big catch waiting out there somewhere, but hold your hauling lines. Reports are saying a huge storm is blowing in.
The storm approaches. That's when the fish come easily, my son.
Coming up next, another hour of thrilling nautical
Okay.
news after
But how far
The
are we gonna
fish
get?
are waiting. Activate the winch. Drop the nets.
Alright.
In the heart of the storm. This is where nature hides its beauties. They are waiting for us.
Oh, I thought he was outside. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is awesome.
Come in, trawler. Come in, trawler. If you can hear us, return to port immediately. I repeat, return to port immediately.
There's a big wave. Oh, it's a tsunami wave. No. Did I go towards it?
Don't forget, boy. Come back with a hold full of fish, or don't come back at all.
I wish we would have continued like this, playing the game. Hurry it up, let's go. Yeah. Oh, more power. Yeah. Oh no. Oh no, get away. What? Oh, I drowned. What? Oh, hang on.
Yes! All done, son. All done. We have got guts, boy. I will give you that. Go then, if you must. Climb the tower, light the lamp, save any other poor souls who are sailing out there, driven on by their disappointed fathers. I only wanted you to be
Is this
closer to
over?
me,
That it?
but I
the game?
didn't. Au revoir, Papa.
No way.
Then, the fisherman thought of all the countless fish he had hauled from the ocean on a line just like this one, just like his father before him. But there was one difference. Those poor fishes were dragged out of their dark, safe world and into the blinding light by force. But no one was pulling this fisherman's strings. climbed the hook, he thought of all the models he had built, all the days he had spent inside the lighthouse, hiding from his fear.
I don't know what you've been hiding from, but I've been hiding from the storm!
His greed.
You landlubbers have everything you want, don't you?
His obsession, that shadow which had seemed so large once upon a time. The greatest catch ever is out there with this. It's just waiting for us. Here we go.
What? Keep going?
At last, time to turn on the light.
What? There's a light. The lighthouse. Oh, there we go, loading. Noise. That's so weird, guys.
Outside, the storm raged. It seems the rules of the replica had been completely disrupted. Inside the lighthouse, little versions of the puppet were reflected back at him, getting ever smaller. And there was only one match left to turn on the lighthouse. Was there anybody out there in the storm? Who knows? But for now, at least, he had one job. He was a lighthouse keeper. Now, if he could only find a match.
Wait, the match is right there. Oh, it's a matchbox.
The matchbox was empty. Shoot, there had to be a match around there.
Oh, there it is. Oh, right there.
If he lit the small lamps inside the model as well.
The match is right there. Oh, like this.
A match. Now something to strike it on.
I got it here. I give it. Hey, where's the strike? Where's it? That's so weird. How can I see it? How can I see it? I'll put this in. Oh, maybe put it out the window. Oh, I gotta pick it up. Oh, drop the match. Drop it.
To light all the lamps, big and small, and there was only one match left to turn on the lighthouse.
So, how do we get this box in there? It's gotta be on the there's a hole right there. There we go. Oh. Oh, they're getting through the hole, Wait. Oh, now I gotta light the match. Oh, it's backwards.
How could you lose a matchbox in a lighthouse?
It's backwards. Why is Totally backwards. Where's the matchbox? Oh, we gotta go. Okay, leave the matchbox. We gotta go. Can't go around. Wait a second. We gotta put this in. Drop it. Come again. What? Oh, where is it now? They had to respawn in this location. Wait. Where's the box? Where? The box? Oh, there it is. Here comes the box. So, let me see. Is it? How about the... Oh, I gotta stick the match through this window. Gotcha. Gotcha. Oh, I pulled it out. Whoa. What? I have it with me. Oh. Can I now? What can I do now? Wait, I got the match stuck. I don't get it. Oh. Oh. Somehow I got like... Supposedly it's right here.
How could you lose a matchbox in a lighthouse?
I did. I don't get it. Already did. What am I? There's something I'm not doing right. God. Okay, guys. It looked a little, but I didn't look totally. Let's see. Somehow. Oh, yeah, there's a handle right here. Isn't that handle?
Wait, wasn't there a matchbox?
Yeah. What is the matchbox? If I could hold on to it, let me see. I can go this way. Now I am opposite, but in the time I am there. I'm at the window. Yeah, I got you now. Oh, so I put the matchbox through here. Oh, there it is. Okay, okay, I got it. Okay, take the matchbox. Get away from the table a little bit here. There it is. There's the window. Let's see. You see the...
Could use the matchbox.
How did it come over here now? Can I just strike it like this? My hands are in the... Okay, there's gotta be something else. Use the patch. There's gotta be something else. How did I get it aligned with this window? That's trippy. Somehow I gotta get the match box. Oh, wait. I got the matchbox. Damn it. Okay, I got this. Wow, that's been a long... Come on, respawn. Come on. There it is. Okay. Now... Adjust myself. Oh! I thought I could lay it on the... Okay, wait. Shit. I have it. Clean it. Okay. Now over here. Grab the match. Oh, I got straight. No. I pulled the match out.
Wait, wasn't there a matchbox?
Oh! Oh, I had it. Wait, I could pull it there. Oh. Oh. Okay. I got this. There we go.
That sound.
I got it, guys. Oh, now what? Now I gotta take and light a lit match and light those. Okay, with my little hand. Grab it. Pull it in. Alright. Oh. Okay, where's that? They're in every corner. Can I light it like that? Do I light the middle, top? No. Do I light the middle?
The big lamps around the room needed lighting.
All around the room. Okay, let's try another one. Let's try this one. Is it lit? Wait, something's lit. This is a little confusing. It's because it's backward. Wait, let me go on this side now. Oh, I can't. I have to be in... Yeah, I can't. Wait.
Time to light the lamps.
Dude, how did they make that? Why? So hard backwards. Man. here. There we go. Oh, I gotta pull it through here and light it. Like this? God, this is so backwards. Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh my God, this is so backwards. There we go. Man, I'm like bending all kinds of ways. There we go. I got one. Guys, this is so backwards. Unreal. Oh man. Oh God. This will help. Wait here. Yeah. Okay. It will help if I look at the room. Okay. There's one right here, right?
The 3 lamps were lit, but there was nowhere near enough light. Perhaps his little friends inside the model could help out.
Okay. I think his little friends inside can help him out. What does that mean? Oh, gotta turn it. Oh, this one's not lit. Wait, they don't look lit. They are though. What? Wait. Gotta turn these. Don't do nothing. His little friends. Don't help, man.
The big lamps around the room needed lighting.
Wait, 1, 2, 3. I got them lit. What's going on? Do I have to light these also? But, huh? Wait. Look, the light's on. The light's on. Just the middle? There's some
Time to light the lamps.
lamps. Like lamps. Oh. Light it. There we go. Okay. on. Oh, hold on, guys. Guys, somehow we're supposed to get the match out. And one guy in the video says he doesn't know how he did. He did it by accident. We gotta get this match out of here. How? Push it through? How'd he take it out? It's not out here. Oh. Push it through the window? Where's the cracked window? The window's right here. Can we put it on top of here and grab it? Lay it right here. Okay. I'll re-grab it.
Three big lamps needed lighting.
Out of here. I'm gonna throw it. He pulled the match out, and he did it by accident. Did I see? And I did opposite. He did opposite. He pulled the match out and lit these, and I lit these inside. I don't get it. You gotta lit, but you gotta light both of them. All I have to do is light these outside now, but I don't know how I got it out. Yeah, okay. I gotta pull the match. Okay, let me get it. Just keep getting Alright, pull the match out. And now I have to walk around. That's it. Okay, now I should see it. Where is it?
There were three lamps around the walls of the room.
Wait, no, I have it. Right here, on this windowsill. See it? There it is. Guys, I did it! Oh my god, no way. I hope he figures out. What? Come on, use a spark. What? There we go. I did it without looking at anything online. Oh god. Yeah, well, I did
Yes.
look at actually.
Now, carefully, the next level down.
That's it. We don't need to match no more. Good riddance. Put a drop right there. Alright, now turn this towards there. Just this. Just this. There. This. This is gonna drop somehow. Wait.
There was a little version of himself inside the model. Perhaps he could help. There were little lamps inside the model. How could he light them?
I did light them. What do you mean? Oh, in the middle I have to light. So I gotta do this again? Okay, I have to light the match. And let me bring the match through here. I did. I could light it on the thing. I guess you're not supposed to light the middle. I did light this though. I don't get it. I did light them on. I have to bring the match back out. I don't get it.
There was a little version of himself inside the model. Perhaps he could help. to light the last torch.
Yeah, last torch, see? In the middle. Oh, probably out here. Let's see. Is it? It's not out here. Where's the last torch? In the middle over there.
There were little lamps inside the model. How could he light them?
Go over there, reset. Yeah, and I did light that, and it didn't want to light. This middle. Okay, watch. Okay. I'm gonna light it on this. There we go. I did this so long that okay, now I can. See, it's not lighting. Why? There we go. That's perfectly honest. Man, that can't be it then. There's something else to do. Unless something bugged out. Alright, well, guys, I'm gonna have to look.
The last torch was waiting to be lit.
Yeah, the last torch. I'm trying to light it, but there's nothing. Is there a torch out here? I don't see no torch. There's 1, 2, 3 are lit outside. 1, 2, 3 are lit inside. The only thing is in the middle, and that's not lighting. I don't know why that's not lighting. This has got a turn probably. I don't know why it's not. Maybe. I gotta look. Alright guys. Hold on. I'm back. It's ridiculous. Okay, guys. Yeah, we gotta light that last torch. Okay. Light that. Oh, we can light it off the same. Let's go there and light it. Okay, now go over here. Come on.
Et
go.
voilà. Let there be light.
There we
Farewell,
go.
mon fils. I can rest now, knowing my obsession did not drag you down with me.
Goodbye, little morsel.
You had to do it specifically like this.
Bon voyage, shipmate.
You gotta grab it on the windowsill right here. Yeah. Alright, can't do nothing. Somebody, we're in the lighthouse. Not a light bulb, but like inside the light bulb. What the hell? God, that was intense. Okay. Now we're gonna have to spotlight. Turn on. Ooh. Yeah, we're on top of the light bulb. Alright, now we're gonna have to spin it.
Mon Dieu, what's that? That beard, that face. He was awake. Hey, the puppet cried. I'm in here. I've been in here all this time. I'm in here.
I'm in here. Whoa. I'm in here. Yes, I'm picking your nose. You feel it? Oh, man. What now, I wonder? Oh, okay. I'm back out.
What
Whoa.
time is it?
So I was dreaming
What a
all that?
mess. Do you know? I think I've been in here long enough.
I gotta get out. Been in here long
I
enough.
think I need to see the sea.
Yeah, I need to see the sea.
How long has it been? Well, no matter.
The end?
Encore the way.
The skies are clearing, fish fans. We've weathered another storm. Fisherman, enough mending your nets. Time to earn your keep. And to all you lighthouse keepers out there, I think you deserve a holiday.
Wow, guys, the end. So tell me if you liked it. If you want to see me play more of these type of games, or well, I'm gonna play all the new ones and stuff, and anything that I like, I see. Or if there's something you want me to play, let me know. I will play it. Subscribe and then ring that bell so you can get all the videos that are gonna come out. If you just subscribe, it won't tell you. Hi Tony, you awake? I passed the game, Fisherman's Tale. Yeah, so we're gonna watch the credits as I always do. You guys seen my other video that I uploaded yesterday. It's the Hitman 3. I passed that in VR. So that's it for this Fisherman's Tale. Yeah, Tony, it was a tripped out journey, this Fisherman's Tale. It's so much like from big to small, like 4 layers. And you're like, and then he's building the model, and then you work with the model, and oh my god, it's cool. It took me, I don't know how long. Alright, here guys. Alright, let's see. That's it, right? Yep. Alright, guys. Subscribe, like I was saying. Don't just subscribe, but ring that bell so you can get all the notifications too when the video's coming out. Alright? See you next time, guys. Goodbye.